Hey everybody, Pastor Vern for December 7th. It's a Monday, and we are moving into right along on our Advent season as we've been talking about different aspects of Advent. Today we're going to lift up why Sundays are so important during Advent. More so than just a day of worship. The Sundays, you know, um, traditionally are laid out in the lectionary for certain things. Once again, I told you last Friday, I believe it was, that I don't necessarily follow that pattern because I like to get more into the actual nativity and those things, which really technically we don't really talk about until Christmas Eve in the church. And also, even like the Christmas music is supposed to be held back till Christmas Eve, and I just don't feel I feel that we need to have more of a time of those things leading us to Christmas Eve, and so I change it up a little bit. And typically Advent, the pastors would preach if they're preaching a lectionary, would preach about the prophets, the Messiah, John the Baptist, uh, and those kind of things. As we lit the candle, we have a little bit of, and we're going to talk about that later about what each candle means, both in kind of what we name the candle and then what it's supposed to represent. We're going to do that down the road here a little bit. But also, one of the things that we need to do is we anticipate Christ's second coming, as well as his birth in Bethlehem a couple thousand years ago now. And Advent Sundays are important because we are refocusing ourselves on the coming of a new year, the coming of a new opportunity to share uh, not only with those of us who are members of the community of faith, but with those outside of our community. We are at a high profile during this time of year. It's one of the two times a year where Christians really have this opportunity to be at a high profile. And we have the opportunity to maybe touch lives because of our celebrations of our seasons that is maybe unique to us. And so Sundays are important because we prepare ourselves for the different aspects. In fact, I have understand that there are some traditions where funerals are not uncommon on Sunday during the rest of the year, but they do not do them during Advent on Sunday, as they are trying to get people to concentrate more on their preparation for the coming of the Christ child. In fact, I did do some research and I found out there's a couple denominations that are in the U.S. that during Advent they discourage funerals during Advent. I don't know quite how you do that in the situation, and if you do have a funeral on Advent, they prefer to do it on Wednesday. Because they want to put the importance on the weekend as a time of preparation when we're away from our work, our day-to-day labors, and so that's kind of a different kind of aspect during for that some of our denominations and some of our churches use. And probably the last thing on this particular list that I'm going to talk about with Advent is the fasting. Now I mentioned that a few times. It's traditional to fast during this time. It started in around the 5th century, I believe, that was part of a tradition of Advent. Just not very common anymore in our Advent season. We do see it in our Lenten season more as people use that type of preparation, that type of uh, means of grace to get closer to God. In the Western Church, we see it pretty rare during this time, but there are those who will abstain from, certain kinds of foods, certain types of activities, in order to have a feeling of fasting, a feeling of being of giving up something in preparation as they wait for the birth of Christ child. Probably we'd see that in the Eastern Orthodox Church a lot more than we would in the Western Church. The Eastern Orthodox Church tends to be very, very, or much more traditional, hence the word Orthodox. Um, and the Orthodox Church is more of a regional church, and so they maybe have a little bit of a different take on their members, as it doesn't spread over as diverse a population generally as Western churches do, and so maybe they maintain a little tighter influence on the folks that are members of their church. All right. Well, that's going to I'm going to move into some other things for Advent. That kind of wraps up this first little bit of a series. We're going to move into some more about the candles and the Advent wreath. And after that, we're going to move into some other Advent traditions that maybe we're not as familiar with. Hopefully, I get enough information to kind of keep putting that together, because I've got, let's see here, I got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 13 more of these until we get to Christmas Eve. And so I'll have to really kind of dig down pretty deep and see what I can find coming up. All right. Well, you guys all take good care of yourselves. Watch out for others the best you can. Stay safe. We'll talk to you later.